Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about a movie review. I'd mentioned in one of my previous videos that I would like to do some Netflix reviews since I like to watch some of the movies that they have on Netflix. In particular, I was going to review some of the actual Netflix films themselves, but there was a movie that I've had in my queue for a while that we decided to watch because
It was cold.
it was cold. And I think I'd
And
mentioned,
we all cuddled in bed.
yes, now by we all, that would be me and my two daughters, which I had mentioned in my my vlog not too long ago. And welcome Punky. She needs her nails cut. She looks really bad. Punky. She just wants to get in my lap. So, without further ado, the movie we reviewed is
Neerja.
Neerja. Yes, it was Neerja, and this was a movie that was released last year. It came out in March 2016, and it is actually about the 1986 Pan Am Flight 73 hijacking in Karachi, Pakistan. Now, for those of you that have been alive for a long time and remember the 80s were riddled with plane hijackings. I specifically remember watching the news when I was younger and seeing the footage of the pilot having his head blown off with the hijackers. I think that was a TWA. It could also have been a Pan Am flight as well. So, a little bit of background. First of all, this movie boasts they said it was not based off of autobiographical information.
Yeah, it's not a documentary.
Yeah, or a actual true story, but it's based off of a true story.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I enjoy true life movies, and Caitlin can actually attest to this. I watch a lot of documentaries. I watch a lot of movies based off of true historical facts. I like my sci-fi, of course, and
Often while doing makeup, she puts on documentaries about serial killers.
yes, I do. I do put on documentaries about serial killers while I'm doing my makeup. That's a little weird, I admit, but that's what I enjoy learning about the human psyche. And I think that had I really thought about what I wanted to do with my life, maybe I would have become a psychologist. I think at one point I wanted to be a forensic pathologist and do what Morgan Freeman did in the movie Seven. Go over crime scenes and try to figure out what happened, or even be an FBI profiler. But I'm too old. Hey, hello phone. That's the Witcher telling me a quest is done, but really it's my phone notification. Okay, so in 1986, it was actually September 5th, 4th, September 4th, 1986. Yeah, she left for her flight that was supposed to go to Karachi, Pakistan, left from India to Pakistan, and then it was actually going to continue on to New York. And
So I think the movie started on the 4th, and she left the next day or that night.
True, and a lot of the premise of the movie is her birthday was in a few days. And I'm not going to give out any spoilers if you're aware of what happens. I mean, feel free to look it up. You could Google Neerja Bano, or Banot, or however you pronounce the last name. I say Bano. I don't pronounce the T like a French name. But I will put the links. I actually will link the information in the description box.
But I wouldn't look up anything about it until after you see the movie, because it does contain a lot of spoilers.
Yes, it does.
Steph made that mistake while watching it. I was like, oh, and almost said something.
I almost said something because I tend to Google stuff because I like to find out about what happened as far as how true life a movie is versus fiction, you know, what is it that we're being told versus what we're not being told. And I did make the mistake of finding out what happened before the end of the movie, and I almost slipped and had to backtrack and backpedal. And anyway, that being said, so the movie's focused on a 22-year-old woman named Neerja. She is a head purser with Pan Am, youngest head purser to have been promoted. It starts out with she is
typical. We probably gotta tell them how Indian movies go.
Okay.
This is an Indian movie.
Okay, so first of all, this movie is in Hindi. My ear was itchy. Okay, so first of all, this movie is in Hindi. It does have English subtitles. Now, I did notice that depending on the platform that you view it, whether if it's on Kindle, it actually translates even the American words or the English words into English, but it also provides translations to some of the songs that are in the film. There are 2 important songs in the film, and then I viewed it again because I wanted to make sure that when I give a movie review, I want to make sure I review a movie more than once, especially if there are things that I'm not sure of. And I used the Xbox One app, Netflix app, to view it, and it gave a completely different. Now, the translation was the same. The translation was the same. It's just it didn't translate everything unless I had it on CC, so closed caption for the hearing impaired.
It was also behind the movie.
Yes, it was also, the timing was off, I will tell you, on the Xbox One platform versus the Kindle that I used, and I connected via Miracast to the TV in my bedroom. So it starts with seeing Neerja arrive to her parents with her family. There's a party. And I will tell you that in a lot of Hindi movies, I don't know if you know what Bollywood is or familiar with Bollywood, there's usually like musical numbers and that kind of thing, but this actually starts with it being a party and a little dance number by some kids. Now, it's not like the huge Bollywood dance number, but it just kind of gives an insight into Neerja's personality, I believe, which seemed very loving, very kind, caring, happy-go-lucky young woman. I will tell you that one of the things that I did notice is she was not wearing a salwar kameez, which is the typical Indian garb. You'll notice typical female Indian wear. And the only reason I know this is because I visited India. I worked in India for 3 months while I worked for another company, and I actually purchased one. And if you've seen in your local neighborhood or your neighbor, it's an outfit. It has like loose pants, a long tunic, and then there's a scarf. It's called a dupada. I probably pronounced that wrong again still. Anyway, she's not wearing one of those. She's wearing a normal dress. Now, little side note, Neerja is a model, and she had just come from a model shoot. We're not given this background. I don't think it's pertinent to the movie, but it's something I thought was pretty interesting. She just come from a modeling job and went straight to the party. And then from that point, we kind of have a little bit of insight into her family, her mother, her father, the personalities of her parents. And from that point, we start seeing
the antagonist.
So we start to see the antagonists get ready, as well as Neerja being woken up for her day. Now, side note.
Do pay close attention to a lot of the beginning scenes, because those do play an important role later on.
Yes, they do. They play.
Like, especially, like, some of the smaller details.
It will make sense later on in the movie. Sometimes when you're watching a film and you view something and you're like, well, why was that even put in here? This movie is full of symbolism, and it's really important to soak that in and really understand why we're being shown this. Now, I do want to tell you that the group that hijacked Pan Am Flight 73 was from Libya, and they were called the Abu Nidal Organization. And in the film, there are 4 hijackers. In real life, there were 5.
I thought there were 5 in the movie.
There were 4. There was one that was meeting them in Cyprus. The flight was to go from Karachi to Cyprus to New York. Was the flight path. But there were 4, because there were 2 up front and 2 in the back.
That's right.
And then there were 5 that were actually hijacked the plane.
So I only paid attention to like 2 of them, and then there was that really sweet scene that made me sympathize. But then...
Yeah. So anyway, so the all right, so the film progresses, and like we see the hijackers getting ready, we see Neerja getting ready, we see her dropped off by what we assume is her love interest in the film. Now,
she's been married once.
She had been married once previously. That was an arranged marriage.
And you'll learn more about that from a little bit what her father says in the beginning and then throughout the film.
Yeah, there are some flashbacks that are provided, which is important, I think, because it gives us insight to the character, the film that the film is named after.
Why she did what she did.
Yes, why she did what she did. Now I will tell you that. So the flight lands in Karachi. The hijackers, basically, they end up overrunning some of the guards,
and then they get on board.
They get on board, and with quick thinking, the attendants, whatever politically correct word it is to say nowadays,
flight attendant.
Yeah, flight attendant. Thank you. They quick thinking, they immediately think to shut the door, but unfortunately they don't make it in time. So the hijackers board. It's a very heavy door, and the hijackers make it on board.
Due to some quick thinking, not all hope was lost.
This is true. We can say this. I mean, go ahead.
Neerja thought, hey, I'm going to call up the pilots, and she, told them people were on board, so they were able to get out to safety. Thus, making it so the flight can fly to Cyprus.
Yeah, so, and honestly, with her quick thinking and letting the pilots become aware of the hijack, a lot of the people that survived this hijacking, they said that, had this flight continued, the plan was to actually blow the planes up or crash the planes up over military installations or into military installations. So by this quick thinking, luckily, nothing further damaging could have happened. Yeah, anything more drastic. So we learn a lot about Neerja's heroism, and we learn a lot about how she actually protected American passengers. One of the things that the Libyans were looking for were American passports, and the flight crew were instructed. They were the ones to collect the American passports, and they were instructed all the passports, and they were instructed because whether it was overheard in the movie, it is portrayed as being overheard that they wanted American passports. They were kicked under the seats, and they were not provided to the hijackers.
That's saving a lot of people.
Now, this film, I thought was done exceptionally well.
Oh yeah, especially it was like definitely a Hollywood quality movie.
I feel it was a Hollywood quality film for sure. And I mean, if you can stand to read subtitles, I would watch this movie.
Definitely made me cry both times.
Yes, definitely. The first time I cried, all 3 of us girls cried. We did. We bawled like babies. And then the second time I cried again. It's just very emotional and heart-wrenching.
Like, I don't think no matter how many times I watch it, it's still gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Just knowing and seeing the people
who did perish. Now, there were 379 passengers and crew, and 20, actually, I think they said, I was looking online.
20 and 22.
20 and 22 is what I'm seeing. I saw 22 on some sites. I saw 20 on some sites. Either way, 20 lives were lost during this incident.
Less than what could have been lost.
There were some very defining moments, and when you look at this film at the the human perspective, and to understand how people could put others' lives above and beyond their own, it really, I don't know, not that it gives me hope now, because I know that there are people that still do that. I mean, let's look at, not to bring, let's look at 9/11 and look at the passengers on board United Flight 93, which they, we know that they overtook the cockpit, and had they not done that, this plane could very well have crashed into the White House or whatever other target that they had planned. But that being said, it's not what this is about.
And like one thing to mention about the movie is that it's hard to like view it as just a movie. I was looking at the actors and thinking they don't look like they look like actual people. Like the acting is so
like actual
good.
People. Like instead of pretend people.
Well, I
but
mean,
no,
like
no.
you don't. For me, it didn't feel like I was just watching a movie. Now
Yeah.
everything was like planned out. Like since I was in theater, I can see where different cues are, and I couldn't tell that. I was just in the movie in the moment.
Yeah.
And it was actually really great.
Yeah, I do have to say, that's one of the things I noticed is that when you first begin to watch a film, especially if it has subtitles, is you, after a while, you don't realize that you're reading the subtitles.
Yeah.
You're still completely immersed in the film. And there is, even though, okay, so like I said in the beginning, there's a disclaimer. It says this is not based off of what actually is, it's not a biography. This is based off of, this is based off of true events. Any relation to persons living or dead is purely of coincidence. Okay, I totally get that, because there have been some huge changes in this film.
Yeah.
No spoilers. Spoilers.
And like it is hard. It is really good to where you don't know if the whole movie is just about the people on board or the hijackers.
Yeah.
So you don't know like who's the main person. Like you
Right.
get a feel that it's Neerja is the main one.
Well, then
the name.
yeah, because the movie's named after her.
But like you get both perspectives.
Yes, you do. You do. And I think that that is really important to understand too. Now, I will tell you that, I will tell you that there is an intermission. Now, there's not an actual intermission, but for those of you that do not know, in theaters in India, and I don't know in which other countries which other countries it is like this. I know in Germany it's not, but there is an actual intermission. When I was in India and I watched Men in Black 2, and the intermission came up, I was like, what do you mean there's an intermission? I don't remember the exact amount of time. I think it was 10 to 15 minutes, enough time to go get something to drink, something to eat, and then come back. So it's funny because you see intermission at this one particular... Now, I will tell you that the very first person that is killed is an American.
Because
he said, I'm an American. They did kill him. But shortly after that, it's like, there's an intermission, and you're like, but when you're watching it on Netflix, it's like intermission, fade into the next scene, Yeah. So I thought that this was a film that was very well done. And I will tell you that even though it says that it's not even based on a true story. It's based off of certain events. There is a lot of truth to this film, and I wanted to review and go online and look to see how much, looking stuff up to see what was true and what was not. And I found that there were a lot of things that were true, a lot of things that were very true about the hijackers, about some of the people that were involved. And one of the things that this film does not tell you. Now, this is not releasing anything toward the end of the film or what to expect, but the 5 hijackers, they were convicted. Now, they were Palestinian. They were convicted in Pakistan for their roles in the hijacking and murders. Now, they were sentenced to death, but those sentences were commuted to life in prison. Now, Safarini, who was he was handed over to the FBI in 2001. He was sentenced to a 160-year prison term. I will tell you that the other 4 prisoners, they escaped reportedly in January 2008. And the name of the prison is Adiala Jail Rawalpindi. So I believe that's in Pakistan. So, and again, there were members of the ANO, which was a designated terrorist organization, and it was admitted in court. Libya at the time was accused of sponsoring the hijacking, and as well as, just so you know, they also carried out the bombings of Pan Am Flight 103 in 88 and UTA Flight 772 in 89. Like I said, the 80s were like riddled. This was like on the news, like, I swear, every couple of months there was a plane being hijacked, and there were, made for TV movies about some of these flights. A couple of things that I now, there really isn't anything I don't like about this film. Was there anything you didn't like?
No. I mean, they could have. I would have liked a tiny bit more background about the hijackers.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how much more we could have received about the hijackers, but I totally agree. So now, like I said, this film was released in 2016. It really highlights the actions. It's supposed to highlight the actions of Neerja Banoat, but like Caitlin said, it really focuses on everyone involved.
Yeah, because you don't just see her the whole time. You see, like, at one part towards the end of the movie, it really focuses on the passengers and, like, what they're going through.
Yeah.
And it's really important because a lot of movies nowadays, they're just background.
Yeah.
Because there's the main characters, and this you like really get to see, what it was like to be a passenger.
Yeah.
And seeing some of these things are traumatic.
Yeah.
Especially for a lot of the children on board.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Lost, and I have to say, I'm really glad that this was brought on Netflix. I'm glad that I had the opportunity to see this film. I'm glad I had the opportunity to review it. The reason I'm reviewing it is so that you have an opportunity to watch it.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I definitely highly recommend it. Now, because I have fibromyalgia, definitely keep some tissues nearby. Now, because I have fibromyalgia, I'm going to rate this on a 0 to 5 spoons. I've not discussed what a spoonie is yet. That to come. No clickbait intended. But I'm going to give it between 0 and 5 spoons, and I definitely give it 5. I give this a 5 spoon. 5 spoonies. 5 spoons, 5 stars, 5 check marks, 5 A pluses, 5 A plus pluses, 5 you better go ahead and review this on Netflix right now. You set this for your Netflix night with your family.
It is not, like, I don't think there's any cursing in it.
No, there's not.
No, so it's pretty child friendly.
Aside from the violence.
Yeah, but with the video games and all that, I'm sure a lot of parents wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
And it's really informational, like, if you want a superhero movie, watch this.
Yeah, this is true. Unless someone has, I would say that if you do have PTSD don't watch it. If you have any PTSD along those lines at all, I would not watch it.
Yeah.
Because it could be a trigger.
Yeah, it is really intense. It did spark a lot of emotions in me, and I'm not an emotional person unless it's really important and it pertains to my life exactly. But it didn't, and there's very few movies that make me cry. My sister said the same thing. She said that she did not like it because it was one of the 2 or 3 movies that actually made her cry.
And I think it's because it more appeals to the human side than action. There is action, but it's more human. There's more of a human touch, something to it.
Yeah, you really get a sense of their humanity, and like a lot of parts with the hijackers, you do get their personalities, which is strange for a lot of movies. Like, you can tell some of them are not ready, not really wanting to go through with it, and others are like, oh, I'm just gonna kill everybody on board, and
yeah, you definitely get a feel for that. Now, Whether that truly happened on the flight, I don't know. I haven't found anything out about that, but in this film, it is something that is brought to the surface. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely recommend to put this in your Netflix queue the next time that you want to find something that is a little bit more interesting, a little bit more diverse, and does reflect a lot more on the human side and is a little true to life. I definitely recommend it.
And you get a little bit of insight to Indian culture and like
Mm-hmm.
what they do,
Yes.
because you can see like around everything. You see the populated streets
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, and just like the family itself, you
You get
can
a
really
sense of the
tell
family. Yeah.
that they're really close together. Because
Mm-hmm.
towards the end, when they don't know what's happening on the flight with Neerja, her brothers and her mom are sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Her brothers are in tears, and I was thinking, well, I don't think my brothers would cry for me like that, because you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not that way. And I thought it was really cute and really
Mm-hmm.
sweet that they were such a close knit family.
Mm-hmm.
And even her dad was just constantly, "What's going on? I need to
Mm-hmm.
know."
Yeah. I thought that was really important. So anyway, that is all that I have.
And they have
What
an
do you?
amazing dog.
Yeah, they do.
He
So
looks
what
like
do
a
you?
fox.
So do you give it 5 stars,
Well,
four
I'll give
stars,
it
like a
a
billion?
good 10
A good
stars.
10 stars. Okay. So I would say put this in your queue. Definitely watch this in the future.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
make my boyfriend's family watch this
yeah,
and watch them cry like babies.
yeah. And put it on film and use it as bribery later. Yeah, you could. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope that you enjoyed this review. Again, I will never reveal spoilers in a movie review.
If she does, we edit it out.
Yeah, and it's pointless to do that because if I'm going to tell you what the movie is about, what's the point of you even watching it? So
Mm-hmm.
you have a fantastical, amazing day.
And you should leave in the comments
and
whether you've seen it and like
oh,
it,
yeah.
or but no spoilers, or I will find you.
Yeah, no spoilers. If you are going to leave a comment, no spoilers. Just let us know if you liked it, you hated it,
Or you recommend a different movie.
you recommend a different movie for us to review because
The last movie we watched and she wanted to review, I did not like.
she didn't like, but I did, and I
really.
think that I'm going to review it. You can review it with me. She could tell you what she didn't like,
Yeah.
and I could tell you what I liked because I enjoyed it. So,
It wasn't bad.
I enjoyed the film, but I will tell you it was anyway. So that's for another time. That's it for another time.
Bye.
Bye. Have a fantastical, amazing day, and don't forget, give us a thumbs up and also subscribe. And again, I will leave the links down below for the information in regard to the Pan Am Flight 73 hijacking. And yes, we know Punky is a ragamuffin. And she's a chorky. She is naturally gray. She needs a bath, but she doesn't need a bath. So, all right. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. Bye.